which is a good segue into what I wanted to talk about tonight. Because everybody remembers we had not even been a city for, what, a full year yet, when Lennar was going to build. That's right, you know, we'd barely been a city very long, and Lennar was going to build garden apartments. And that was something that we thought, you know, that what you're going to see tonight would have been a better choice than that. So we bought it, as our city manager, Julian Jackson, said about us. You know, we were such a new city, we didn't know what we weren't supposed to be doing.
Thank goodness.
And you know, because we didn't, we did, and so now we have this, and I'm not going to prejudge anything or tell you, except I'm very excited about what you're going to see in a bit. And I think that's about all I need to say, except one thing. The guy you're going to hear next is one of those behind-the-scenes fellows who I rely upon, and that's Dan Graveline. Dan, if you don't know, was the first executive director or head of the Georgia World Congress Center. He served in that capacity for 33 years. Do you know how lucky we are to have a guy who did that for those years? I mean, think of all the politics of all the governors and all the mayors over that time period, and you had one guy who handled it, and they grew the tourism business in the city of Atlanta, the metro Atlanta area, the way that did. And all you got to do is Google his name, and you'll see who they give all the credit for it. So he agreed to serve, at our request, as the chairman of our Downtown Development Authority. And so it couldn't be in better hands. So without any further ado, I'm going to let you talk to Dan Graveline.
I didn't even pay the mayor to do that. Goodness, it's good to see all these smiling faces here tonight. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not sure what you expected, but I'm going to let Diana Wheeler, who's the full-time community development person, director for the city, give you the real nuts and bolts of where we are on the town center development. But I had a number of people ask me recently, what in the world is a DDA anyway? So I thought I'd take a couple of minutes before I introduce Diana and tell you just a thumbnail sketch of what a DDA authority is and what we think we're supposed to be doing. We may be, like Mike mentioned, we may be too new to know what we can't do yet, but we've been rolling along. So without getting into too much detail, Downtown Development Authority is not a new thing. Most of you have probably heard about it. They exist in almost every city in Georgia. Some of our neighbors, Norcross, Duluth, Shawnee, they all have downtown development authorities, Alpharetta. They're in big cities, Atlanta, Macon, Savannah. The ability for a city to create a downtown development authority was created by the state legislature. And the same rules and regulations on what you can and can't do with them apply throughout all of Georgia. So we do have some pretty long, detailed, elaborate legislation that allows the city to create us. But really, the purpose is to facilitate the city's goals in different economic development projects. And there's certain things that they can do through a downtown development authority that normal city governments can't do or can't do quickly and easily. A few of the major things. A downtown development authority can buy and sell real estate. Don't have to do big, long, elaborate political situations to go through. If we own it, we can buy it or we can sell it. We can enter contracts for leasing or buying property, and we can enter them on a long-term basis, which is very difficult sometimes for city government. And we can even finance projects if we have the resources to be able to pay back the things that we finance. We don't have the ability to tax or create fees or anything other than a project that maybe we already own. But if the city gave us money, or if we have a project that generates money and we think we can finance it with bonds backed by those resources, we can go out and finance a project. Mike mentioned the World Congress Center Authority. The World Congress Center Authority financed the Georgia Dome on its own through the same kind of powers. But the sole purpose is to help the city facilitate the things it needs to do and wants to do with economic development. We'll do nothing on our own without turning to the mayor and city council first to find out what is it they really want us to do. Just quickly, this Downtown Development Authority was created in April 6th of last year, 2013. We got to work quickly because, as the mayor said, they'd already bought the property and already had a goal in mind and said, here's your first project. Oh, we need to put you in official business first. We were created April 6th. We had our first meeting May 6th, a month later. 3 months after that, we put out an RFP for the project. There are 7 board members, all private citizens. 4 of them are here in addition to me. Would you 4 please stand up? I'm not going to take the time to introduce everybody, but quickly, guys, just stand up. And Ruth, thank you. These folks have been working tooth and nail to get this thing done. I just happen to have the honor of being, maybe the dubious distinction of being initial chairman, but hopefully this thing will survive a lot longer than any of us who are on the initial board. Our initial project, as you all know about, is the so-called Town Center project. It is the 21 acres across from the Forum that Lennar was going to build a huge multifamily project apartment complex. And I think between city elected officials, city business leaders, and just the general public, it became pretty clear that was not what the city really wanted to see happen on that property. So the city bought it, has turned it over by contract to the Downtown Development Authority. We put out an RFP in August of last year for developers to work with us to develop the project. We had 3 excellent responses. They were so good we could have put them in a hat and just drawn one out and had a good developer. But after reading very lengthy proposals and having face-to-face interviews, we selected an outfit called Cupid Development to be our development partner in developing the project. And I'm sure all of you know those initial developments had residential components in them, including some high-end apartments. And I will take the blame for maybe not sensing that perhaps that was going to be a sensitive issue, more so than I realized, because we knew apartments in a large scale and multifamily apartments had a great deal of opposition, to put it lightly. However, most mixed-use developments in this day and age, successful ones, often have an apartment component, but they're higher-end apartments that are designed to appeal to young or freshly married professionals, or the other end of the spectrum, like me, empty nesters or retired people or soon to be retired, who maybe are going to retire to the beach, but want to have an apartment here so they can come back because they have family and friends here. And that's what we originally had from all 3 developers. Well, it soon became obvious that no, that was pretty controversial as well. So we told the developer we're going to have to reorganize and rethink those first concept plans. And we've been working on that for the last 6 or 7 months. I'm going to introduce to you in a moment here Diana Wheeler, who's the Community Development Director. And Diana is going to give you a blow-by-blow detail of where we are with that so-called final plan. Final plan, I'll say with tongue-in-cheek, this is not the final filing, and it will be put out for public hearing and input, for zoning commission hearing and input. So everyone will still have a chance to evaluate the plan and offer any input if you have some. In fact, we would welcome it. I think that probably that's all I need to say about downtown development authorities. We're delighted to have such a good turnout. We will stay after the meeting and after the presentation with Diana and try and answer any and all questions you have. And if we don't have an answer, we'll try and find one for you. Or we'll tell you quite candidly we don't yet have an answer for whatever that question was.